with a couple kills and boom, you're at the top.
Go outside and just take a quick breath, and then I'm ready to play again.
No matter how bad you're doing, there's always room for a comeback. And I really always want to see myself doing good. I never want to, I don't let that stuff get to me until the games are over, and then I can tilt as much as I want.
My advice would be to not think of it now and just go to the next game.
Gotta pop up.
It is so much about positive mindset, isn't it? That mixed with experience as well. That gets you so far in this competition here. And we're going to see who can manage to go all the way this evening, because you have to take those bad moments and really utilize them and make them and turn them around into good moments. And hopefully that's going to happen for a lot of our teams today to get into that top 8. Let's focus on some teams in particular. Obviously, POIs and drop spots are incredibly important in this format as well. Who's going to be contested, who's not. Let's look at one of our duos first and foremost, Peterbot and Quanti. SBG, why is this duo such an exciting one to see compete at this level?
So I think first and foremost, we've seen Peterbot play with 3 or 4 separate duo mates, and now he's finally found the one that's clicking at the right time. Him and Quanti are going in, they're going to be playing well, and like I said, they weren't able to reach round 3 last time, so I'm interested to see what they're able to do now that they've reached that round.
Yeah, and they have a very unique playstyle. I think it's one of the things that's made it difficult in duos, because with trios, you can kind of plug in somebody of Peterbot's skill, and there's no real problem. But if you watch him play solos, he plays very differently. It's a lot more methodical. It's a lot of ambush practice, and he kind of manufactures eliminations. And finding somebody who wants to play in that playstyle, it can be tough at times. Then also making that playstyle work when you add somebody else isn't always necessarily a given. So I'm very interested to see if they're able to put it all together when under the pressure of basically only having this qualifier to really run through it.
I totally hear what you guys are saying. I think that's really important. It's a real difference from last season as well. Trios going to duos as well. We've got new teammates, new teams forming. It does have a massive impact. You've got to kind of take all that, and particularly in the moment as well, things get so intense. That communication is really important. There's so many factors. I want to see what happens again as well. I love that kind of the VT we just saw as well there with Omzo in his chair going, "Yo, Miss Google man." I love this guy, and I'm excited to see how he works with DJ this evening, because these guys came really close last week. It didn't quite happen, or let's say a few days ago. It didn't quite happen for them. Pretty good indeed here, SBG. Again, another great duo who have got so much potential.
And the tough thing for them in the first qualifier was off spawn. They went down numerous times, but Knifer and Viola aren't going to be in this one, and they're not going to be contesting them. That doesn't mean that someone else may not be, but we'll have to see if they're able to make it to that end game, because once they're there, Sundown, they are such a strong duo.
Yeah, they were able to put up results every time they made it off the off-spawn fight. You have to assume, because Knifer and Bila aren't there, and no other duos on East necessarily want to be fighting both Knifer and Bila, and then Eomzo and Degen. If you don't have the reps at that drop, you're just going to get waxed out every single time. The Guaranteed Llama is so strong, and you can see how practiced they are, making sure they have the exact same landing. They rotate over there in a very timely manner. And if you're not necessarily on your X's and O's like they are, you're just going to get pushed back into the lobby waiting for the next match. And once that happens once or twice, I assume you'll get pushed away. So I'm hopeful that now that we're into the last qualifier, teams are going to be a little bit more deliberate about their game plans. They're going to find a drop spot that works. They're going to do the math. They're going to go look and see what everyone else is saying. And they're going to find a spot on the map where, hey, we can get enough materials to give ourselves a chance in the mid game on Storm Surge and into the end game. And if they do that, I think we're going to see a really tight top 8, which has been the story of NAE so far.
Oh, that's why we love it so much here, though, Sundown. We love it getting tight. Particularly, we saw at EU, there was the bubble in that last game potentially going through, which made it so much more exciting. One team that is actually going to be competing today, who weren't here on Friday, didn't qualify for that, but are today, Muzz and Avery as well. We know obviously Muzz last season, going through Booga, Miro, Muzz were FNCS champions, now teaming up. I got a new duo with Avery, who we know so well as well. Talk me through SBG. I mean, we know these guys, but what makes them a really captivating duo?
I think they're a fan favorite duo just because of how cool it is for a player to literally come across the world and then dominate another region. He was able to do it over in OCE. He's now doing it over here in NA East, and we really haven't seen anything like that before. He's now teamed up with Avery, who's more of a slower paced player who is very mechanical and has the ability. It's all a matter of whether these two are now playing together well at the right time. I'm not sure. I haven't really seen enough from them to tell me yes or no, but individually, I know they're good enough to how it plays out today.
Well, I think one of the biggest things, and there's no doubt that Muzz is a skilled player, is also a very emotional, right? We've seen it when he ended up coming over from OCE. They didn't instantly have success when it was that full OCE trio, and it took him splitting apart and then going with some other NA East players. He most certainly has the ability, but they need to get things rolling right away, and I think that's where Avery's deliberate playstyle is going to be able to help them out, where if they're able to get just one or two Elans early on, get one or two picks, get a refresh, or even just not be threatened by Storm Surge. If they're able to do that between the first two games and make it into the end game, I have